Hi everybody, welcome to the channel and let's get right into it. So we're going to start sewing from underneath the fabric in order to hide the knot that's at the end of the thread. And we're making the first little notch just immediately below the rip. Now that we've pulled the thread out, bring the needle in directly across, grab a very small amount of fabric, and pull the thread out again. And we're just going to keep repeating this process all the way to the top of the rip, sewing, and this is important, as closely as possible along each side. So again, we're making a little notch or incision on the other side of the rip from where we pulled the string out, grabbing a small amount of fabric and pulling the string out once more. By the way, since puffer coats are made out of nylon, which tends to be very thin, and this coat that I'm working on here in particular, the nylon was paper thin, I'd recommend using the thinnest needle that you've got, and of course, use a thread that closely matches the color of your coat. This is where it becomes apparent where this type of hand stitch got its name. Every little piece of thread looks like a step on a ladder. When I was researching which type of mending stitch has the most invisible finish, I came across the ladder stitch, but it appeared to mostly be used to close up seams, but as you'll see, it works really well on closing up rips in the middle of the fabric as well. If any stuffing from inside the coat sticks out, just use your needle to push it back in, but you don't have to worry too much about it because you can snip off any visible strands of fluff in the end. Now this is where the magic really happens. You're going to gently pull on the thread, which closes up the rip. If needed, you can press down with your thumb to provide support to the fabric and thread. If you're working on a longer rip, do this every few stitches. Otherwise, if you wait too long, I found that the thread kind of gets stuck and you have to pull harder, risking breaking the thread or even worse, damaging the nylon. If you pull the string a little bit too hard and you have more puckering than is necessary, you could kind of give it a little massage to flatten it back out again. To secure our work, we're going to create a knot. To do this, stick the needle in along the stitch line, close to where your thread is sticking out. Bring it back up, put your needle in through the loop, and then tug. I'm going to make a second knot just to be on the safe side. Okay, so last step. In order to hide the tail of our thread, we're going to bring the needle in once again along the stitch line, very close to where the thread is sticking out. But this time, it doesn't really matter where you bring it back up, so just stick it back up and snip close to your fabric. Of course, be careful not to cut into your coat. In a minute, I'm going to show you again how to make the knot and then hide the tail, but on a different rip that I closed up. because I know this part can be a little bit tricky, especially if you've never done it before. As a finishing touch, just snip off any fluff that's sticking out. Okay, as promised, here's another example of how to make a knot and hide the tail.